Well, hello and welcome to my Monday messages. And it's not morning as it usually is, it's the afternoon. And what a scorcher we are experiencing here in Ireland. So I hope you are enjoying the weather as much as you can. So today I wanted to talk about words and our use of words and what a power those words can have over us when we attach certain meanings to them. I've always been really interested in language, actually, and particularly, thinking about the origins of words and the meaning of them, and how language and our use of words can change and shift, and how that sometimes serves us well and sometimes not. So this was brought into focus for me with a few people recently who have come, and part of what needed to change for them in order to feel much better about themselves and about a lot of the behaviour that they were adopting was to actually transform the energy around something they were believing about themselves, which was that they were self-centered. They were on the receiving end of that as a criticism from a young age, and also more recently as well. And that was creating a state of shame, I suppose, and not feeling good about themselves. Yeah, I'm self-centered, I'm selfish, I'm obsessed with myself, and that being a negative thing. Now, in all of those cases, the truth behind that was missing, totally missing, actually. And rather than it being a negative, we explored the possibility that in fact it could be a huge positive. And that led me to research the original meaning of self-centered. Actually, it came into use in the 1600s. And it largely meant, it actually came from astrology and from, astronomy and geometry. And it was a term used to describe something that, an object that was, it remained in place, or it was able to pivot around a central axis that remained true no matter what happened to it. And actually the philosophers of the time, there was a philosopher called Henry Moore who applied it to the concept of a spiritual or mental state where one's thoughts were anchored internally, so within us, rather than relying on something external. So remaining true and centered and strong internally, regardless of what was happening around. And that state of wholeness or integration, meaning that we were true to ourselves and we were strong no matter what. And of course, that's what many of us are seeking to find or to feel, actually, in this busy, fast-paced, incredibly fast-moving world that we live in, and all the information that we're flooded with. So what most of us are seeking, I think, is a sense of that central core within us, remaining true to ourselves, remaining able to pivot if needed, but also to retain that central strength, that foundational sense of self, no matter what we encounter, no matter what external things come into our orbit. So to be called self-centered now could in fact be a huge compliment, a recognition that we are steadfast and true and authentically ourselves, no matter what happens. So I wanted to invite you today that if you were carrying any negative thoughts or feelings around being called self-centered, time to let them go. Time to actually go, well, thank you so much. What a compliment. Instead of believing that, in fact, it's something negative and something, that's critical. Words are spells. They absolutely are spells. And mostly we're unwittingly casting them against ourselves because our whole bodies respond to whatever we believe is behind those words. So let's do what we can to actually let go of those spells, to actually break those spells for ourselves, and to change the meaning of the words that we are telling ourselves and whatever anybody else wants to send our way, because that spell can only be cast if we choose to believe the meaning behind the words, the energy behind the words. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you're all having a beautiful Monday afternoon, soaking up the sun, hopefully, in some way, or even if you're looking out at it, doesn't it make us feel better? Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and as ever, I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your experiences, and whether this has been helpful to you. Take care.